Hello and welcome to Writer Rant, author advice in 5 minutes or less because I have to get back to writing and so do you. This week I want to talk a little bit about plot momentum. Something I've noticed in some of the books I've read from independent authors is there's really a challenge in keeping the plot moving in the right direction. A lot of times it's a matter of you have a lot of really good action going on with your main characters, and it's really exciting, but then almost out of the blue, you go and you just go off the rails to some other either character or a flashback, and it's just jarring. It's hard to really focus then on the story because half the time I'm trying to figure out, well, wait a minute, we were just here in this really exciting part. I want to know what happens next, but instead we're covering backstory and exposition or doing a flashback, and it's like, it's that that momentum just comes to a screeching halt, and suddenly it's like, oh, I'm not really interested in reading the story anymore because suddenly we're going and we're exploring something else. So changing viewpoints, I know it's a little challenging when you have a lot of different characters and you want to kind of tell all of their stories at the same time in order to get the full story of the plot in, especially if you're doing like a third person omniscient or even just a first person trying to get everyone's perspective. But sometimes it's a matter of really knowing, okay, hey, I got this driving force and it's propelling this character and kind of the story to be really interesting, and you really don't want to cut that short. And that being said, if you have just a continuous, just action, 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 all this stuff happening, and it's just almost exhausting to read because there's just so much going on, and it's just going on and on and on. Sometimes in that case, yeah, you do want to take a little break, kind of step back, step the action back a little bit, and yeah, sometimes maybe a flashback. I'm not really a fan of flashbacks, but maybe a different perspective from another character, or some other thing that kind of helps lessen the amount of action going on to make the reader not quite as exhausted reading it. Another thing too is sometimes I know some authors really like to use different formats, like something in italics or bold or whatever, just a chunk of text that is essentially within the middle of something that is happening. Usually it's a matter of, oh, they're trying to explain something in a flashback again, or they're trying to do, kind of two different points of view simultaneously. And that can also be kind of jarring. That's probably the most jarring because you don't really take time to separate from the scene that's being played. It's kind of like happening as the scene is going on. So really pay attention to the momentum in your story. And, it kind of helps to have someone else read it to kind of see, oh, hey, I kind of got pulled out of the story when you did this, or, I was really distracted when you kind of went into that flashback. But what about you? What have you found some books that you've read that kind of the momentum kind of comes to a screeching halt, and you're kind of left scratching your head as to why the author did that? Leave a comment below, and maybe I'll get to it some other time, especially if you have anything else that you're kind of frustrated about when you're reading other people's works. But anyways, this has been Writer Rant, and I'm Benjamin M. Weilert. Thanks for watching.